Hi everyone, today you're going to learn how to make this delicious cinnamon sugar babka. It's like a giant cinnamon bun, but even better, soft, delicious challah dough, brown sugar and cinnamon and deliciousness. It's so good. Alright, let's get started. We're going to start our babka off by making the dough. I'm going to tip my flour onto the bench, make a big well in the center. Then add in my yeast, my egg, oil and honey, and water, sorry. Get all that honey out there. So this dough is a challah dough, which is a traditional Jewish bread. I really like to use it for babka because it's nice and soft and fluffy, and it's got that delicious honey flavor. It just works perfectly. It's kind of like a brioche, but less rich. And much easier to handle. So I start to just a bit at a time add in the stuff, add in the flour from the outside, and just use your dough scraper to help mix it together. This is a very wet dough, which is what makes it so nice and soft when it's baked. So it will be a bit hard to work with to start with, and you can add more flour if you need, but just kind of see how it comes together first. And you can do this in a stand mixer with the hook attachment if you like also. So you just keep kneading it and keep scraping, and then in a little bit, once it gets a bit tackier and we've got everything mixed in properly. I lost a piece of dough over there. You can start the slap and fold technique, which really helps the gluten to form, to elasticize. So you basically slap and fold. Sorry, I'm trying to do it in the camera, but I'm not very good. So you just throw it down, fold it over. Throw it down, fold it over. Sorry, I keep hitting the arm of the camera. So the more you do this, you'll feel your dough becomes softer, or more elastic, sorry. I'm going to just scrape all these little bits that are left. Mix it in. You should have a beautiful elastic dough, like that. When you push it, it should bounce back, like that. Because it's a very wet dough, it doesn't need to be as elastic as normal because the water will help the gluten to develop as it rests as well. So I'm going to leave this to rise until it's doubled in size. I'll probably then put it in the fridge overnight so it's nice and cold, which will make it easier to work with, but that's not necessary. That's just an optional extra to make your life easier. So I'm going to wrap this up, and yeah, we'll see you later, featuring the annoying fly. Alright, bye. It's time to finish off our babka. So my dough has been resting in the fridge overnight. It's nice and bubbly. I'm going to start by making the filling. I have my super soft butter here and some flour. I have found that this stops the butter kind of leaking out everywhere. And you get more of a cinnamon flavor when you have a bit of flour because it doesn't leach out with the butter. So just going to mix that round. You want it to be super soft so it's not going to tear your dough. Then we have some brown sugar and cinnamon. I'm just going to mix that up in an obviously not appropriate size bowl. That's fine. Alright, this is the loaf tin I'm using. You can use any size loaf tin, whatever works for you. I'm going to put a piece of baking paper on it, just to help lift the babka out afterwards. Just like that. So I'm going to take my nice cold dough. Like I said, you don't have to have rested it in the fridge overnight. It just helps because it is quite a sticky dough. Plenty of flour. Sorry, knocking over things in the background, as per usual. Just going to start rolling it out, moving it, making sure it's not sticking. You don't need to roll it out super thin. It doesn't have to be rectangular, but it does help. So what I've gone for is the same width as my tin, and it's about, I would say, 1 centimetre, 1.5. I have a ruler right here. Let's use that for once. 0.5 centimetre thick. But you can go up to 1 centimetre. I'm going to take my butter. Just want a nice consistent layer. You guys will have exactly the right amount of butter. I'm just testing out for now the quantities. Put a tiny bit more. Perfect. Cinnamon sugar. Again, you guys will have the right quantities. I'm just testing it out. I'm going to get that really cinnamony bit. Alright, perfect. You want a reasonably thick layer, and you can pat it down if you want. Get in the edges, and then roll it up. I like to kind of pull. And then push it down to kind of make it even. Nice sharp knife. And definite cuts like that. And it's going to do this, which is where it kind of falls open. I just like to go from the middle and twist it. It's very messy at this stage, just embrace it. I'm gonna pop it in the pan. Voila. We're going to leave this until it's doubled in size. So for mine, that will be till it pretty much reaches the top of the pan. You don't need to worry about any excess left on the bench. And you can see, like, all babkas look beautiful once they're baked. So even if yours looks a bit ugly, which it won't, I promise. But sometimes I know people are like, oh, it doesn't have like a perfect swirl. By the time it's baked, it's going to look amazing. So I'm going to leave that until it's doubled in size, and then I will show you before I stick it in the oven. While that's happening, in here I have a little sugar syrup, 100 grams sugar, 100 grams water. Just going to bring that to the boil and set it aside. You guys really don't need to watch a pot boil. I'm sure you know what that looks like. A lot of babka recipes online kind of skip this bit, but it's really important for a babka that when it comes out of the oven, you soak it in this delicious syrup that just helps make it what a babka is, which is incredible. So yeah, this should take, I reckon it's not super warm in here, it's raining outside. Think about an hour till we're doubled in size, and then we'll go from there. My babka has been proving for about an hour and a half. So some ways you can tell that it's almost done. You can see here the dough's grown where the butter kind of was. You can see that kind of split. Also, when you press it, it should leave an indent, and it should feel quite light and airy. It will take longer if your dough was in the fridge, like mine was. This dough has quite a high yeast content, so if it was, you just left it out for about an hour to double in size, and then rolled and made your babka, it will only take about 20 minutes to half an hour, so you just have to keep an eye on it. So I have my oven preheated to 180 degrees, and I'm going to stick this in for 20 minutes to start with, and then we'll see how it's going after that. My babka has just come out the oven. It's nice and golden brown everywhere. It smells amazing. It has been in for a total of 35 minutes at 180 degrees. If you want to check it's cooked, you can take a knife and go in the middle, hold it there for a few seconds and pull it out. It will still be wet, like it's not like a cake, but it will feel hot. If stuff comes out of the knife, like raw dough basically, needs more time. If the knife's cold or not hot, then it's not done either. So that's how I always test it, because it's a very wet dough, so it can take a while to cook. In here I have my sugar syrup that I made before. I'm just going to brush it on. I like to do this as soon as the babka comes out of the oven, so that it kind of soaks it up. And be very generous with your brushing. I'll probably give you guys half the amount of what I have here, because probably you don't need all of it. Just going to let that soak in. I'm going to leave it to cool for a little bit. And then just going to loosen it. And I'm just going to take it out of the tin. Should be able to lift it out like that. I'm going to leave it to cool. And that's it. You have a beautiful, delicious, incredible cinnamon sugar babka. I will also give you the recipe for the chocolate filling, which I really love too. Leave it to cool down before you slice it up and enjoy it. And yeah, it makes great French toast for leftover, if you have leftovers, or even just great toast in general, or just eat it. It's delicious. All right, bye.